Hello, my friends. Hello. We're here to let you know what we trade and when we're right and how not to fight the market now. Hello. Good turnaround Tuesday. Hello, everybody. Hiya, Mike, Ingmar. Yeah, it is a golden morning. Pretty amazing. Shorting silver today. Get an umbrella, John. Hey, Ryan, buddy. Bran. Blake, welcome back, buddy. James. Tenco Cammon X Pro. Welcome to Face. K-Man. IS. Marcus, Hugo. All our loyal listeners, viewers. Linda, how are you? Ren. Okay. You're dancing on your chair. Be careful. All right. They say falls for guys our aging are the the biggest risk to our health. Okay. All right. So let's talk markets. So dollar, didn't quite get 50% back. Euro did though, because it's been the relative strength, right? So here we go. All right. So here's Euro 4 hour. Decent bounce. As you could tell, we got right close to halfway back, which none of the others have gotten even, we haven't even got 23% back in pound. Um, Aussie has not 38 yet. Check this moving average if we get up there. I'm still waiting for 97. Okay, so we'll see. All right. Um, that's going to be a level that's halfway back, maybe 61.8, and then I'm wrong under the lows. So I did try silver up here, about a 7 cent lead. Let's see if we could get a reversal out of this. It's underperforming gold. I tried gold yesterday, made $10 and took some home, lost 25. So I'm just short silver because I think there might be a bounce in the gold silver ratio. And I think eventually we could see, 2.5. 43 is going to be a big number, but let's see if I just survive the day. So yesterday in the S&Ps, they went to that 6705 level. We're right there. Um, Look at the action, these 4 hour compressed candles. So we'll see if it makes another new high. I'm short this too from 705, risking 30 handles. We'll see what happens there. And the gold shares have been exploding. Uh,
Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dale. But the and good to hear your voice. Well, I listened to you actually while I was in Mississippi. But Nvidia carried the
yeah,
market yesterday
right.
on the Nvidia OpenAI news, right?
Yeah, that's the market was higher, but that's what really goosed it. Nvidia put in a great day. I mean,
Yeah, and they're what investing a bunch of money into OpenAI, which is going to then turn around and buy Nvidia chips.
I don't know what the Ponzi scheme is, but we're
I think
almost
that's
back.
it. I mean, in a nutshell, that's it. Like
Yeah,
without getting too deep into it, but it's
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
hey, I mean, whatever.
Yeah, they can play all kinds of games. Ethereum actually met an objective here. It's about equality at 4,000.
Yeah,
And
that was
I still think there's a message with what's happening in Bitcoin. The fact that it took out the 13,000 and this 115 was pretty big. So, I mean, this is a measure of liquidity. I haven't seen Bitcoin lag this much, the market making new highs. So I guess everyone got out of Bitcoin and bought gold. So maybe when you see the metals come off, um, they'll rotate back into Bitcoin. But I think we could go to 100. So um, the weekly doesn't look too good. It wasn't such a great close. Lower high, failing rally. Here's 100. So we'll see. Um, let's get to the guys. So let's start with K-Man. You doing anything new
Good
here?
morning, Dale. Good morning,
Good,
everybody.
good
Welcome
morning,
back,
buddy.
Blake.
Yeah, good morning.
Thanks, Kay.
Am I doing anything? Well, yeah, as I said yesterday, I actually bought a little bit of gold again because just it's insistent. And then we had a bit of a headline this morning as well. China and Ryan put that in our newsroom as well for those who care to have a look. They want to become the custodian for the foreign sovereign gold holdings. And that pushed gold another $30 up. As you say, the silver is more a follower of fashion, but there seems to be a problem with the supply there as well, so it's continuing to fly. I've put my last take profit just above 45. I think at around, well, let me check, 45.35, and I think if we reach there, which is going to be the last fib of the whole 2011-2020 move, maybe time for a bit of reflection, but can hardly say that there's a lot of retracement coming there. But I also said on the flow show, and we spoke about that today in particular, that we have seen one of those moves in silver already, where all of a sudden the demand dries up and then it drops a buck and a half. I'm
I
wondering.
would I would take that.
I'm wondering
Can you
whether
arrange it?
I'm putting my stops relatively tight to the market right now on stuff that I have running in gold because what if, just what if? It's all the conditions for it to go higher are still there, but then it's the speed, right? The speed. I mean, what is it? We've done like $150 in two or three in a few sessions. I mean, it's quite spectacular what's going on there. But yeah, I wouldn't yet stand in front of it, but I'm keeping the stops relatively close to market just to avoid that all of a sudden we run out of bids in gold and silver, and gold could actually do 200-300 bucks to the downside without even changing any of the global picture. But just taking the possibility into account. I'm not saying it's going to happen today because, as we've seen, it's been bid in both the US and the Asian sessions of late. So that still tells me there's juice in there and people wanting to come into markets, right? Into market.
So what about currencies?
Oh, I don't have an awful lot running. I'm a little long Aussie and I'm still long Euro sterling. Yesterday I sold just a little bit of dollar Norway again because we are getting closer to that 10, the big figure. But I'm still rather on the defensive for the dollar. But shyly, I'm not like in any big positions, any big conviction right now because we do have power later today. Do have a bit of those PMIs, and it's it's more like rangy, but I prefer to side still on the side of the dollar finding offers on rallies, but selectively, as I said.
Do you think this was just an oversold bounce and we're headed back down to the lows?
Um, Not immediately, but I think it's on the cards.
Okay. What would
Uh,
change your
I
mind?
I think it's going to be time will play because No, I'm going to get red carded in the room for that. But we are running into the end of the quarter, and there may be a bit of like dollar demand, then followed by dollar selling. If I look at equity markets at the end of this month, should in theory be a decent dollar selling fixing upcoming, but because we are like 6,700 in the S&P, we're closing in on the 25K and in the Nasdaq. Yeah, if I look at the dollar on the back of it, I wouldn't bet for a big demand in dollars going into month end.
Yeah. Compared to gold and silver on the 4 hour anyway, pretty good divergence, non-confirmation after this candle. So they didn't blow out the divergence yet. Anyway, we'll see what happens today. Ryan, how are you, bro?
Good morning, sir. I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Okay, so are you still running with Canada?
Yep, still running that long. Had a little snip off yesterday. Got a little TP going in just below the my line, 138.60.70. It's holding up well enough. Seems to be going against what we're seeing in other dollar pairs. Like you said,
Yeah,
euro dollar had a bounce. Dollar
Yeah.
yen's coming off a bit, back under 148, but dollar CAD seems to be hanging in there.
yeah. I guess things are rough in Canada. You doing anything with either euro or cable?
Yeah, I'm doing something with both in euro sterling.
Okay. Oh, all right. So you still long euro sterling here?
Yeah, and we've got that break above 87.20 that I've been talking about. It held
Almost.
by
Yeah.
3 pips
Yeah.
on a dip today. We had some bad data out of both Europe and the UK, but the UK data swung it for this one, so we're up above. We've got this fiscal stuff happening. Apparently, a lot of traders are putting on hedges in euro sterling, buying upside protection above 87.50 all the way up to 90. So the market is getting a bit anxious over what's happening in the UK in the latter part of the year, which can bring a bit of sell rumor buy fact into it if the market gets too bearish going in and then the budget and everything isn't as bad as expected. So this
Well,
might be
there,
one where
there you're talking about down the line. Here in the US, it's Friday. Are people talking about the potential of a government shutdown here?
no, I forgot to look actually this week because wasn't there a vote on Friday to kick it for 7 weeks? Did that pass? I can't remember.
No, it did not pass.
It didn't pass. So yeah, that threat's still hanging over, isn't it?
Yeah, and and I've seen it, everyone's seen it. Oh, it's just theatrics, will do it at the last minute. This time, I think this is the Democrats' last piece of leverage they have.
Have they got any? Have they got the numbers?
Yeah, they could shut down the government. And unless the Republicans add back on what the Democrats are saying were healthcare cuts, which they don't want to do, and the president may be willing to let it happen because then he could govern everything by emergency, measures. But no one's even talking about that we could have a shutdown Saturday.
Well, most people, like you say, they think every last minute we get to this point and then the can gets kicked for another few weeks, and it keeps getting kicked and it keeps getting kicked. Maybe this is the time we get a shutdown again. I don't know. Now.
That's just something to keep in mind as risk over the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wanted to bring it up. I don't know if that would be dollar negative or dollar positive. I would think that there'd be some kind of lack of confidence of that happening. I don't think it would be treasury positive. So I want to ask you a little bit about rates. So the long end of the market, we're getting into an area where, look at this TLT, it's right on the breakout.
Yeah.
It could negate the breakout. This line is not, a final demarcation line, but it's not great action after a Fed cut, right? Just like last time in the 10-year, this 420 is going to be the big test.
Yeah.
Maybe we pull back a little again, then get back to 420. Back over 420, I got to think the dollar's got more legs in it. So
You're
that's
absolutely
pretty
right.
much it.
You're
Yeah,
100% right. But we're in data watching mode now.
yeah,
Part of that move down to 4%, and the fact we
yeah,
couldn't break 4% over the Fed is the
yeah.
market getting repositioned for the months ahead. And now it's going to look at the data and say, right, did we position correctly or are we positioned incorrectly? Is the Fed going to
We're
be
just
more?
we're just like Paul. We're data
Yeah,
dependent. Huh?
we're all in. I mean, as I say, we saw it with the UK data. Particularly on Friday, we got a good retail sales from the UK, but that's been good all summer. But the borrowing numbers were absolutely horrendous, and straight after the Bank of England and the markets got over that hump, it's smacking the pound because it's looking ahead to the fiscal picture, and that's exactly what markets are doing now. It said, right, we thought the Fed would do this. The
Yeah,
Fed did that. We repriced, changed, jiggled about. Now we know where the Fed are at. The data's either going to confirm it or deny it, and we're going to have to change pricing to accommodate it. And that's why you've seen the dollar. It had a decent rally. You asked, is that it for the selling? It might not be it, but it could be it.
yeah,
If we get good PMI data from the US, then the market's going to go, yeah, the jobs market's wobbly, but everything else is okay. And then
yeah,
you'll probably see the dollar rally a little bit, yields rallying a little bit, and up we go again. So yeah, it's the pendulum's going to swing data point to data point until a clear
yeah.
trend emerges.
Because the cable was so weak, I would not look for much more than halfway back, around 36.
Yeah,
I'll
and that's
take a
looking like
stab
a
at
dead cat, isn't it?
yeah, I'll take a shot at it. And you could see 36 is big if you look left. There's 36
Yeah,
right here too. So yeah,
huge.
so Blake, you have your sea legs back.
I
I hope he's
mean,
got clean pants after that driverless taxi video he
uh,
posted. Eric,
Incredible, that one. I was in there.
nope.
yeah,
is it,
those driverless taxis. We have they're Waymos, and I was chatting with a bunch of people about them. I happen to be in an area where I see them all the time. I see them like literally every day, and I see I would say 100 driverless cars running around a day, but I hadn't ridden in one yet because it skirts my neighborhood, the map, by just like literally like down the street. So it doesn't actually go into our neighborhood. So I had to drive to my in-laws house, drop a car off there, then take it because it was a 4 o'clock in the morning drive. Anyway, it is a little strange being actually in one as it's moving and it's driving around, especially during daylight hours. So that was a little weird. But like I said, they've been in our area. I mean, for years. I mean, we've seen them. I know they're not commonplace anywhere else. Austin, Texas, Phoenix, San Francisco, and I think there might be one other city. But they're very prominent here. So I drive next to driverless cars all day long. I mean, it's not anything uncommon, but it is a little strange, that's for sure. As far as like getting my sea legs back, Dale, well, my observations have been somewhat limited, but
yeah,
after last week, we had a lot of these false breakouts, or you can look at the dollar index, and I guess the way I like to look at it is the dollar index had a false breakdown, but
yeah,
also respected that long-term trend line. And then what we've really noticed on the dollar pullback since the beginning of the week is, and here I'll just pull it up right here. It's been very manageable and it's
yeah,
been very shallow. It's only been a 38% retracement. So
right.
if you are bearish the dollar and you think, oh, that this bounce should be faded, just realize that it's only pulled back 38% retracement. My opinion is because it's a false breakout or breakdown, excuse me, which is, you can see it right here. Because it was a false breakdown, it was a false breakdown of that major 14-year trend line. I still think the risks are higher. Now, we obviously need to see the data support that, which today we have PMI data out of the US. We saw European PMIs. They're not looking great. What Ryan, what was your read on the Eurozone PMIs today?
A bit crap. Germany had a bit of a surprise with their services, but manufacturing went backwards. It was a bit of a poor day globally. Australia went backwards as well in both. France went back to being crap, so their jump into expansion last month was a dead cat bounce. Yeah, in the UK, same thing. It was looking ever so strong from last month, and yeah, the wheels have come off. Well, I'd say the wheels are wobbling, shall we say? They haven't come off
Wheels are
just yet.
wobbling. Okay. And so, when you look at that, now, turn your attention to today's data. We have US PMIs that are going to be out. We've got Powell. Now, Powell is speaking at, and I looked a little bit earlier here. It should be right here.
He's
Let's
at the
see.
Providence Chamber of Commerce.
Okay, all right. Well, obviously he's going to have some commentary that could move the market. So you got to be a little weary of that. And then I think really the only thing right now that's holding up the dollar, obviously the data that we just talked about with Powell, but it's also the equity markets. I mean, you got equities that are at all-time highs. You got the precious metals that are ripping. I mean, and the dollar, for all intents and purposes, is holding up really well in with all that. I think if you saw equity markets start to give up some of these gains, if you saw precious metals look for a bit of a reversal, which by the way, I don't know if you guys have seen it. Gold has completed the pennant today. Also completed its minor. Remember, Dale, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. This
Yeah.
would be the minor wedge breakout
Target.
target. That was its minor target. Sorry, it's actually this one. The minor target has been reached as of yesterday. And then also the bullish pennant has completed. Obviously, daily RSIs are pretty overbought. So, I mean, if you start to see precious metals turn up at these levels, I mean, what's the dollar going to do? The dollar looks, I mean, I wouldn't want to be shorting the dollar on this 14-year trend line that turned after it should have
No.
gone down following the Fed. And it
Everyone's still waiting for 95, Blake. You know how that is. The whole world was waiting for 95. Everyone,
yeah,
Braga 95. Everyone I talked to, if I talked about a dollar bottoming before it, because when the whole world's waiting for one number, it either doesn't get there or it doesn't mean anything.
right, right. Well, speaking of which, we happen to have and since you asked me if I have my sea legs back, and I'm just getting my head wrapped around all the market moves. Like I was in the chat room last night, and the euro was trading at like 118.06, and it spiked up right to the 50% retracement. By the
Oh,
way.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I wrote in the chat room before I went to bed last night. I'm like, you guys should be fading, the euro above 118 here. I mean, you should be. You should be shorted. Now, are we going to get any follow through now? I mean, if you were selling at 30 pips ago in Asia, I think we got to be waiting here. But the good news is we have Greg Horvat. He's here today, and he gives us all of our Elliott wave views on Forex Analytics. Now, remember, Forex Analytics is not just currencies, guys. We cover Bitcoin, crude, gold, the dollar, obviously DAX, treasuries, Ethereum. So there's a lot of different instruments, S&Ps that we cover here. And Grega provides Elliott wave analysis on all 30 instruments that we currently have. And by the way, with trading analytics, since that is up and coming, we are going to be expanding. So with that being said, Grega, I'd like to hear what your views are, your Elliott wave counts are of not only the dollar, but where we're at with precious metals and the S&P. So, Grega, how are you? Good to see you.
Fine. Happy to see you as well here back in F.A.C.E. Wait, Sander, I cannot share the chart. Do you want me to share, or you will take a look?
You can share, but let me see if we can we change as Steve is here, so maybe Steve can make it where you can share. I'll stop sharing and let's see if you can do it. Can you do it from here?
Sure.
There you go.
Okay. Can you see the screen? Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so last week, I was looking at this trend line support here on the US yield, and we failed to break to the downside. So I'm just wondering if maybe US yields will be able to recover further from here. As you mentioned yourself as well, dollar index also at the same time, it printed new lows of the year and then rebounded. So I think that there is basically a chance that we have a bottom in place here and that we will continue higher. So I think that after these pullbacks, maybe in the next few sessions, and then if we can hold here levels around 97 by Thursday, I think that then towards the end of the week, we could see a new resumption higher. So I'm more in the camp that dollar could really rally further from here. But even if I'm wrong with these recent lows and we suddenly go even lower, I would still see this as an ending diagonal, meaning that fifth wave will just stretch a bit lower here, but still looking for a potential stabilization and dollar recovery. So I'm watching euro dollar very closely. I think that this trend line could be quite interesting one. It's connected back from August first lows. So if we can break this one, I think that we are going to see more weakness falling back into these pivot levels here around 116, which was basically the midpoint of the summer range. So I'm more in the camp for potential opportunities, early opportunities, I should say, on the long side of the dollar. Even if euro dollar will make a new high, and then we see a reversal, I will patiently wait on another reversal down, maybe from 1, 2, and I would most likely try again if we'll have some similar price action like we have seen with this sell-off from last Wednesday. Because I also realized that there must be a lot of stops above that Wednesday spike high. So even if we see a retest of this, I still think that there can be a reversal down later on. So that's my view for the next, let's say for the next few weeks. I think the dollar will rally further and will.
So I wonder if that's going to come on the heels of a precious metals pullback, because this has been one hell of a move.
Yeah, I mean, when looking at gold, okay, so we are basically coming out of this triangle, and we in a triangles, whenever moves are very sharp, I use the tool or approach called the triangle measurement target. So I took the distance of the widest leg here of wave A. It was the first leg within a triangle, then projected from the breakout point, and we are right there right now here, 3,800. So I think that's the first important level. I'm not saying that we will see a top here. The market can always extend towards even higher targets, but definitely I would not be surprised if we will start slowing down. Also, what I would love to mention as well, if you look maybe on silver, here we also are in a fifth wave, right? Plus, looking at the gold-silver ratio, keep in mind that on a gold-silver ratio, we have 5 waves down. We just recently came out of a triangle. So whenever gold-silver ratio moves to the downside, that's usually bullish for metals. But whenever we are expecting that gold-silver ratio will recover, which, by the way, I'm expecting because of these 5 waves down, well, to me, this tells me that maybe when we'll see this recovery on gold-silver ratio, that's when metals like gold and silver could slow down. You can see the past examples here. Let me just zoom this in for a bit. So here we had gold-silver ratios that were in recovery mode, and we can see that in several examples, both gold and silver were trapped in a consolidation. So I assume that gold silver ratio is now, because of these 5 waves down, could potentially complete this lag and we could rally, and this could possibly send both gold and silver into some kind of a consolidation. That's one thing. The next thing is,
doesn't that kind of tie in at times, say the dollar and the gold silver ratio correlate?
yeah, I mean, if dollar would come to the upside, then I also assume, yes, that maybe gold silver ratio would move higher because of both the two metals that will most likely pull back.
Okay. So you think 5 has happened in the gold silver ratio already, this recent break? Okay.
Yes, that we are in our late stages here. Yes.
Okay. All right.
So,
thank you.
And my pleasure. Also, looking at dollar Chinese yuan, here we have seen a very nice breakdown back in August, and that's exactly when also gold started to recover. And here on dollar Chinese yuan, I also see potential late stages of this 5th wave of decline. So again, I would be expecting a correction. Not saying that this correction will have to show up. I'm just very careful up here when I'm looking at metals and all of these correlated markets and what they are telling me. So if this correction would really play out on dollar versus Chinese yuan, then again, another reason why we should be careful on metals here. And I certainly think that pullbacks obviously would be very healthy here, but I'm not in the camp where I would be buying this anytime soon, because I know what usually suggests the price action itself. Whenever we come out of this such a triangle, usually the market will complete the final higher degree bullish structure. So that's for metals. You also asked, we have interview?
No, he canceled, so you have time. Yeah.
Okay. So regarding the stock market here, still extending higher within a wave 3. It's still bull run, but I think that the wave 4 here could maybe much easier show up if dollar really is starting to bottoming out here. But it's an incomplete uptrend. So I just think that whenever we get some very nice healthy retracement, there will be more upside. There's no channel resistance here around 6,700 or slightly higher. And then maybe 6,800 is a real extension, which obviously is some blow-offs moves could, even in short term scale, could really show up on stocks, as we know. So that's still a very strong trend that we just don't want to fight, right? One last thing, I missed the start of the webinar, but I think that Dale discussed about Bitcoin. So what's interesting to me is that Bitcoin, as you know, its spot market is open through the weekend. But if the Bitcoin itself, cryptocurrencies, would be really positioned on a bearish move, you would most likely see this sell-off on cryptocurrencies already happening during the weekend. But notice that as soon as the futures market opened for a new trading week, that's when market really started to break down. So it looks like some kind of a manipulation here on the futures market. And I just think that they will try to press the prices and bring it even lower, because if you look at the liquidations heat map here, there are a lot of stops.
I'm looking for about 101 now, Grego. Is it possible to see 100?
Yes, I think it's very possible. I would say much more probable compared to new highs. I mean, I'm looking this drop as a wave A. That was a counter trend rally. And as I said, there are a lot of stop losses here that's below 107.
Yeah.
So looks like that this can be some kind of a magnet that will try to liquidate those that are on the long side. And with the Elliot waves wave count here that I'm looking at, I also think that we have this impulse down. So after some rally, maybe in the near term, market could start really attacking these levels here.
Look, UFC all the way down there. And in time, it's not that far away. the UFC around 100. Oh, now it
Yeah,
moved. Look,
yeah,
it
I have it
moved.
here. Look.
Oh yeah, look. Hey. It's like playing Pong. All
Yeah,
right. Anyway, okay. Good one, Gregor.
yeah.
So you know the cursor trick. Can you do that with candles too, or only labels?
New labels.
All right, buddy. Thank you, Gregor.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's
Thanks
always
for being
good
here,
to hear
Grega.
you.
Thank you.
All right, so some good stuff, like usual.
Hey, I just want to, I'm going to leave with one chart really quick because Grega was just, he was talking about, the longer term channel and the S&P. This is a long-term channel that I've had forever, and it comes in around 6,800, and this stock market, I think we're still trying to complete wave five, but, it could be anywhere around these levels. Channel resistance would be around 68, 6,900, as Grega was talking about, that I see as well. So still looks like there could be some upside here. I mean, this has been a wild market, hasn't it, Dale?
Yeah. You know what's
I mean,
interesting? The sulfur rate. Do you follow it? Even though
I
we're,
don't. I'm sure. Matter of fact, I bet Ryan and K-Man do the
did you
so.
look at that, Ryan? I think it's at like 4.7. It's really been climbing, the sulfur rate.
Yeah, the guys in our room are watching that an awful lot. I've seen a few headlines about it climbing up. Um, it's
It
whether it
doesn't
tells
mean
us anything is
anything.
another question. Kay might have more insight on it.
Okay. All right. Well, it's just showing a lot of demand for dollars, right? Because that's
Yeah,
where
but
the rates are.
we can get that sometimes towards the end of the year.
Okay.
And there's we've got everything going on with the Fed and whatnot, and there's stuff going on with Argentina and where they're going to do swap
Oh,
lines, which obviously might create a demand for dollars as
Yeah,
well. So
okay. Yeah. All right.
yeah, yeah.
Man,
Look, look.
did you want to add to that, Kay?
Well, yeah. Ryan, Ryan exactly mentioned it. Look at Argentina, because if you start to pull on the swap lines, it needs financing, right? So that may be one factor of the last 48, 72 hours or so in that is with it. But yes, it is still quite bit. Yeah, but is it really reflecting demand right now for dollars as such, the currency? I'm not 100% sure,
Probably more about liquidity than a currency, but the liquidity they need is dollar denominated.
Yeah,
They're not.
especially for those South American countries, right? Because
Yeah.
they have
Yeah.
a lot of their debt expressed in dollars.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, the Brazilian real. I mean, this has been one hell of a move in the BRL. So I know
Wow.
we're pivoting off of some pretty key support here. So it's been an interesting move. So I don't know. Something doesn't smell right up here, Dale, to me. I mean, we by the way, we do have Steve here. Steve, if you want to jump in, if you have any observations this morning, since our guest isn't here. Steve, are you here?
Yes, I am.
Oh, hey, Steve.
Hey, mate.
Hey, how are you seeing the markets right at this moment?
Uh, we've had a pause in the dollar rebound before it breached any level of significance. So I'm going to say the same thing I said last week. Be cautious. I still don't see the bottoming out argument from a technical perspective. Can it be the case? Yes, it can. Do we have any confirmation whatsoever? No, we don't.
I'd agree with you. We actually have to break back above this 38% retracement in order for me to be a believer, which that's where we stopped basically on Friday.
For me, the level is 98.80, but I mean, we're not gonna split hairs here, right?
Yeah, there you're talking about this level right here.
Yeah, so we
Looking
can
around
start
here.
breaking the sequence of lower highs in essence.
Right.
So as long as we trade below 98.80, personally, I don't see the argument whatsoever and the enthusiasm about the dollar having bottomed. As I said, is there a chance this has happened? Yes, there is always a chance that the trend is going to be reversing, but no evidence yet.
All right. All right, very good. Well, Dale, it's been one of those days where I think you have to take in what's going to be happening a little bit later with the U.S. PMIs, with Powell's speech, and seeing where equities and precious metals go today, which both happen to be at all-time highs. So, well, gold is and the S&P. So, I think we're going to be waiting to see what happens from here.
Okay, Blake, it's always great to welcome you back whenever you leave. And, team's not the same without you. And hope you had a good time. I just had one question about your trip. Did you wear a raccoon coat to the football game?
Did I wear what?
A raccoon coat.
No. Why would I
That's
wear a
what.
raccoon coat?
That's the way in the old movies. Everyone used to wear those raccoon coats with their pennants. Boy,
Oh,
as a fan, but
oh yeah. No, yeah, I had a
yeah,
bunch
I'm
of
just
pins. That wearing pins is apparently a thing. And so there's everybody's got pins on their all over the place, which is funny. Man, that was when they say it was 86 degrees and it was humid. It was like being on a tropical island on the equator is the best I could explain.
you
It was
you
freaking
you
hot.
you couldn't wait to get back to Scottsdale for
Oh
this
my
weather.
gosh, it was hot. It was hot and humid, but what a great experience being at a
Yeah,
SEC
yeah.
football game for
The
sure.
campus looks beautiful.
It is
Anyway,
wonderful.
all right. So that's Turnaround Tuesday, everybody. All right, we're in September now. I know it seems quiet. To me, it feels like we're in the eye of the hurricane. And, so we have some things to contend with besides data. Government shutdown. I don't know if you guys know it, but, this recent move by Ukraine, the incursion into Russia, they believe there were 2,000 uh, NATO troops with them for the expertise. In NAM, they call them advisors. Okay, so Europe's already, they're preparing for war. So just something to be aware of. And I still haven't seen a peace agreement between Iran and Israel. So, there's a lot of things that are going to happen, let alone domestically, let alone the Fed, let alone is employment really weakening and the melt up until it's over. And, the melt up, I think 7,500's in the cards. But I still think we could have one interim correction before that happens, or this would really be abnormal. But I guess that's what parabolic moves do. But great opportunities. I hope Blake and Grega are right about the dollar. It'll put pressure on a lot of commodities, so there'll be great breaks to buy in the metals eventually after this at more reasonable levels. So, not a good time, I think, to have FOMO in anything, but a good time to get ready and do your work so you're prepared if we get these counter trend moves to position yourself afterwards or during. So get in the chat, and that's that. And thank you, Ryan and Grega, for being here, Steve for chiming in, K-Man, uh, still trading the metals like a champion. You become like Goldfinger to me, K-Man.
Goldfinger.
He's a man, the man with the golden touch.
If we make a lot of money, Dale, let's go to Vegas and do a show, man.
All right, I'll be an Elvis impersonator.
Okay.
Anyway, everyone have a great day. grow. Okay. That's a key word today. Find something to make yourself grow as a trader today. Come back tomorrow and let me know what it is. And don't just count your pips, count your blessings, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.
Blue pills don't count, Dale.
What's that, bro?
The blue pills don't count if you're talking about make yourself grow.
All right, man.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks,
All
team,
right,
and thank you,
guys.
Hugo.
See you guys.